Welcome, class 12th. Here we are going to continue chapter 4, The Enemy from your visitor's book. Let's now continue the chapter. Dear children, you have come to know how Dr. Sadao, the Japanese surgeon, when he found a wounded prisoner of war of American origin near his house, he took this man to his home and started tending his wounds to see his critical state. When the domestic staff refused to nurse this soldier, then Hannah, his wife, she started helping her husband. Let's see what happened next. She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. It was a piteously thin face, she thought, and the lips were twisted. The man was suffering, whether he knew it or not. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of the prisoners were true. Crouch, that means bend down on the knees, or means to sit in a squatting position. Piteously, that means sorrowful. Now Hannah sat down in a squatting position and went close to the face of the sleeping American man. She felt sad and sympathetic towards him as she saw his thin face and twisted lips. She knew it, that the man was suffering. She wondered whether the stories that she had heard about the tortures meted out to the prisoners were true. They came like flickers of rumor, told by word of mouth and always contradicted. In the newspapers, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at their liberation. Flickers here means the feelings or emotions which last for few moments. Contradicted, that means opposed. Now looking at this man, Hannah was confirmed that all the stories about the tortures by the Japanese armies were proving to be true. Though such stories come like rumors which spread from the mouth of the people and always opposed. But in the print media, like newspapers, it was always mentioned that wherever the Japanese army went, they were welcomed and greeted always very gladly and pleasantly. As the people of the other nations, they praised them for availing their freedom back to them. But sometimes she remembered such men as Colonel Takima, who at home beat his wife cruelly, though no one mentioned it now, that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. If a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this? For instance, Manchuria is the northeastern part of the China. It is the homeland of Manchu people. However, Hannah recalled here the memory of the army journal of Japan, that is General Takima. She said that such man of the higher rank, if he could be so cruel to his own wife and had always the domestic violence with the lady, but no one mentioned and criticized him. But however, this man fought so bravely the battle in Manchuria that everybody liked to mention. If a man could be so cruel towards his own wife, then how he could spare the enemies who belong to the other nations like America? So surely he had been cruel to this prisoner of war. Hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck just under the ear. Torture, that means physical or mental hurt. Scars, that means marks. Now Hannah hoped that the man should not be tortured by their own country's army. Just then, she saw the deep red colored marks of the injury on his neck. just under his ear. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sadao, but he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard, dangerously near the kidney. Hannah lifted her eyes and inquired from the husband about those scars. But Sadao did not reply. At that moment, the tip of his instrument had hit something hard. That might be the bullet. That was quite close to the kidney of that man. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. He propped with his fingers, delicately familiar with every atom of this human body, from his search. When Hannah was calling the husband and indicating about the scars near the neck of the enemy patient, she found that the husband was lost in his thoughts. He was enjoying the pleasure of his work and was quite happy and excited to have finally found the bullet. It was quite near to the kidney of the man. He had searched the bullet over there. Sadao was quite familiar with the tiniest part and atom of the human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge. Anatomy is the science of the human body. His American professor of anatomy had given him that knowledge. Ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin. Sirs, cardinal sin means serious mistake or basic crime. His professor has taught him, if a surgeon ignored the knowledge of any atom of the human body, it was very serious mistake of the surgeon. He had thundered at his classes year after year. To operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it anything less than that is murder. According to him, to operate upon the body without detailed knowledge of the human structure, the person who makes it would amount to commit murder of that body. Sadao's professor had repeated these words many times in their anatomy classes, and Dr. Sadao had taken it very thoroughly and seriously. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sadao murmured. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. Right now, Sadao was speaking to the injured man. He said that the bullet had just missed his kidney, so his life could be saved. It is also mentioned whenever Sadao got engrossed in his operation, he started talking to the patient. Right now, he is again addressing here to this enemy patient who was not in his senses. My friend, he always called his patient, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy. So this is the reason he addressed that patient as my friend. He called the injured man also my friend. He forgot that this man was not his friend, but the enemy of their nation. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. Precise, that means clear. Incisions, that means surgical cuts. Quiver, that means shiver. Sadao was now very quick in his movements. He made the few surgical cuts on the body and removed the bullet from the body. The man trembled with pain but still remained unconscious. He tried to speak a few words in English, which were the expression of the pain that he was experiencing. Guards, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. Sadao, Hannah cried sharply. Hush, Sadao said. Guts is the informal word for bravery and determination. Hereby, it means to extract the intestine of someone. When Sadao was taking out the bullet from his body, the patient shouted. He was repeating the words guts they were taking out. My guts, hence his pains and these cries indicate about the cruelty of the Japanese army, which they used to give to the prisoners of war so cruelly. Hence, this man was giving the proof. Hannah shouted. To this, Sadao quietened the wife. The man sank again into silence, so profound that Sadao took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble, but enough. If he wanted the man to live, to give hope. Profound means deep, feeble means weak. After saying these words, the man again went into deep silence. That means he again fainted. Doctor wanted to check his pulse, but this time he hated to touch the body of this enemy patient. But while checking, he found the pulse was working. He detected that his heartbeat was working, but due to the weakness, it had turned to be very dim and very weak. But Sadao thought that it was enough for a person who had desired to live. That means there was still hope the man could survive. But certainly I don't want this man to live, he thought. But this time, Dr. Sadao was sure that he didn't want this man to live because he was the enemy of the nation. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. Now he instructed Hannah not to give any more anesthetic to the enemy. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicines he chose a small vial, and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once or twice and then grew stronger. Vial is a small container typically made of glass used especially for holding the liquid medicines. Hypodermic, that is a needle or syringe. Thrust, that means pushed. Fluttered, that means trembled or shivered. Hence, after stopping Hannah to give any more anesthetic, now doctor turned quickly and chose a small bottle from the medicines. He filled a syringe with the medicine and then pushed the vaccine into the man's left arm. And then Sadao placed the needle down and held the man's wrist. The pulse shivered once or twice, and then he found there was recovery in the condition of the enemy patient. And his heartbeat also got improved. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hannah and sighed. Finding the improvement in the pulse of the man, doctor informed his wife that in spite of all the dangers, now the patient would survive. He was out of danger. The young man woke so weak, his blue eyes so terrified when he perceived where he was, that Hannah felt compelled to apologize. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. Terrified means shocked or alarmed. Perceived, that means become aware of something. Compelled means forced. Apologize, that means feel sorry. When the young man woke up, he was back into the senses. He was looking very weak. His blue eyes were looking very much scared. When he assumed where he was that moment, Hannah was forced to feel sorry to this man for his condition. But she served him food as the servants refused to enter the room of the enemy man. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small strength to be prepared for some fearful thing. Summon, that means gather or assemble. When Hannah met the injured man for the first time, she found that the man was gathering his strength, but he was full of fear. He was frightened because he knew it very well that he was in some Japanese person's home. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly. How come you speak English? He gasped. I was a long time in America, she replied. Gasping, that means to breathe heavily. Hannah spoke softly to the injured man and encouraged him, saying that he should not be afraid. He was surprised how the Japanese lady was able to speak English. Hannah replied that she had lived in America for a long time. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he could not, and so he knelt and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. Porcelain is a glazed earthenware, or it is a sort of white ceramic that is used for making Chinese utensils and pottery. The man wanted to ask about English and the family stay in America. Hannah, she knelt down and started feeding the man gently with the spoon made of porcelain. Though the man did not want to eat, but still he had to eat up. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him, and yet moved to comfort him. He did not answer. While feeding the man, she again consoled him by saying soon he would become very strong. She did not like this man. Despite this fact, she tried to console the man by saying that soon he would get strength and energy. But the man did not reply to her. When Sadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with effort. Lie down, Sadao cried. Do you want to die? Here it is described on the third day after the operation, doctor visited the man. Then he found the young man was sitting, but his face was looking pale and weak. And in his effort to sit up, he was looking bloodless at the moment. Sadao shouted at him and ordered him to lie down. He said if the man would try to sit, he would definitely die. He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound. You may kill yourself if you do this sort of thing, he scolded. Here we come to know again about the dedication of Dr. Sadao for his work. Sadao forced him to lie down and started inspecting the wound of the man. And then he said that he would die if he would make any effort to exert himself. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? Now to hear the consultation and advices by the doctor. The enemy. This patient, he felt the confidence on the doctor. He asked what he was going to do with him now. Doctor assumed clearly about the age of this enemy patient. He was hardly 17 years of age. The boy expressed his fear and he inquired from the doctor whether he would hand him over to the Japanese army now. For a moment, Sadao did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man. But the doctor did not reply instantly. He completed examining the boy and then he put the silk quilt over his body. I don't know myself what I shall do with you, he said. I ought, of course, to give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, don't tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the young man was about to speak. Don't even tell me your name unless I ask it. However, the doctor He had replied that he didn't know himself what he would do with the enemy. He said, though it was his duty to inform to the police, he said it was not hidden to him that he was the prisoner of war. When the doctor found that the young man was going to speak something, he stopped him by putting his hand. Here again, he showed his concern for his patients and warned him that he didn't try to exert and even didn't tell his name unless and until he would ask him. They looked at each other for a moment. Then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. Now Sadao and the boy exchanged their looks, and then the boy closed his eyes and turned his face towards the wall. The enemy patient did not like the words of Dr. Sadao. He felt bitter, but he only said okay in a low voice to the doctor. That means he was going to agree with the advice of the doctor and would be quiet. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Sadao. He saw at once that she was in trouble. Sadao, Yumi tells me the servants feel they cannot stay if we hide this man here anymore, she said. She tells me that they are saying that you and I were so long in America that we have forgotten to think of our own country first. They think we like Americans. Next, doctor found outside the door Hannah was waiting for him. He saw that she was in some sort of trouble. Hannah informed that the maidservant Yumi had informed that all the servants had given the threat they won't work anymore if they would hide and try to save the enemy anymore in the house. Yumi had also told, as Sadao and Hannah had been in America for such a long time, so they had forgotten their duty towards their own country. So Yumi and the servants, they all thought that Hannah and Sadao were now personally liking American. That's why they are helping and saving this enemy man. I hope you have well understood the explanation. Thank you for watching the video.